The land that we're meeting on today is the land of the original peoples, Turrbal, Jagera, Yagara, and I feel also that this is a land of movement. You know, whenever there's water, people are moving up the waterways to the mountains, but the Jaguar ranges beyond, which is definitely a meeting place of a lot of different mobs coming together. So in that spirit of coming together and sitting here now and sharing stories and food and tea, we can take a moment and just feel ourselves rooted into the earth here, listening and feeling the layers of stories, full respect to the original peoples that walked over this land and up these river systems and fished from the creeks, made their homes along these beautiful creeks, raised their kids and looked after the country, were nurtured by this country and are still nurtured by this country, and in return they nurture the country, you know, they look after their mother.
Hello, Krakow. And this is this General Hungary. This is from Poland and this is from Hungary. So this is my heritage on my hands. Mama and Oppa. Yeah. And oh, do you want to see a photo of my mama? Of Mama? All right. This is Ila Marashzeki. This country must be so rich because there's firewood all over the ground. You know, they'd come from a war. She saw straight away the beauty in this landscape, and she really did want to, you know, share that respect for the land straight away. She would make little dilly teacups and yeah, paint little animals and plants of this land, even though they were so new to her and exotic. Yeah, she was just in love with it. So I reckon I get some inspiration from her in that way too. Yeah.
Let me tell you about Tali's background. On her dad's side, Tali's ancestry goes all the way back to the United Kingdom. Her mom's parents from Poland and Hungary fled their homes during the Second World War. They found passage on a boat that brought them to Australia as refugees. Tali, one of 8 siblings, was born in Papua New Guinea. She was raised among the tropical rainforest, beautiful coral reefs, and mangrove ecosystems. Back in Australia, she deepened her love for the bush and found her true purpose as a bush regenerator. Along with her brother Jono, they created bushtekniq, an organization committed to practice natural bush regeneration, using ecologically sensitive techniques and ethical perspectives.
And then you came to me and you started talking about bush regeneration, and you said, imagine if everyone take care a little bit of the bush, imagine how different it would be. What's bush regeneration?
Well, the bush is regenerating all the time, even without us. Regeneration, it happens in our cells, you know, it's that continuation of life. Use the term bush regeneration as humans with our tools and our techniques and our active observation, like we're assisting the bush to regenerate itself.
So that's your role?
That's my role, yeah. I'm an assistant to nature. Native wisteria, Caleria megasperma. Megasperma, big seed. Everything's a balance, and it's all about us learning through observation and learning from each other and through, you know, resources, conversation about, yeah, just learning the story so that we can keep the soil rich. One motivator for me around bush regeneration and, you know, doing hours of weeding. is that we are about observing, understanding and respecting the plants that have evolved with this particular soil. So humans will bring the weed seed, and these weedy species, they will come to this country, and the soil's different. It's like exciting, and they can proliferate here, and they haven't sort of built up that relationship with the soil, the same as the native species have. Also, the relationship with the local fauna hasn't been built up over evolution. We want to assist the local species, the local plant species, to breathe a little, because a lot of the weedy species that come in can be quite dominant.
There's too much weeds, so we have to pull them out to give some trees more space. And that's what I'm doing right now, giving the trees around me some more space. Ugh.
Calicarpa pedunculata. Get your Calicarpa pedunculata on, mate.
The weeds just slowly started getting thicker and thicker. Initially it was just cutting and poisoning and doing a bit of mowing, slashing, and finding that it was just coming up again. It wasn't actually getting rid of the problem. Species of weeds we had was lantana, ochna and asparagus, and that was just really taking over the whole bush. We managed to, by chance, get told about the bushtekniq group.
3 years we've been here now, every month. So that patience, consistency, determination.
Using the kama, it's a tough serrated teeth, and we use that in the soil. We can cut right around the crown tissue very quickly and without swinging a mattock or anything. It's a very efficient tool, small and light and relatively strong. Climbing asparagus, this is regrowth. This is a small amount of what was here en masse when we first arrived here on this site. Doing our little minimal disturbance weeding as we move across the land here, and we're kind of acting as those little bandicoots that do the same thing and allow a bit more moisture to come into the soil and some sunlight to reach the seeds. And then over time we're seeing beautiful native grasses popping up everywhere and all kinds of plants that we had no idea were here.
My wife and I couldn't have done this ourselves. We didn't have the energy or the knowledge, and hoping over the next several years we're going to really return this place to a thick bushland with lots of wildlife, lots of bird life.
We keep the chemical companies out of the bush. Back in the day when we were learning, we were asked to do it, and it just didn't feel right, you know? Inherently, it was just like, why are we bringing poison into this nature, like into this natural bush where there's all these tiny little animals and birds coming in to eat them, and it would just confound us every time. So we just stopped using it. Like our boss would say, oh yeah, do glyphosate, this hillside of ochna. And then we would just go, what if we don't? And that was the whole impetus for starting bushtekniq. It feels really necessary, actually, to treat these green spaces with like respect and care, because there's guys living in there. They didn't ask for highways and houses and people with their various chemicals, you know. I think it's like that taking notice, you know, when you do bush regen, you start to really observe. You know, you come into more of a close focus with the natural world, and then you start to see and question and be curious about all the little critters living in there and the fungi, plants themselves. It's like this plant has always been here. It wasn't planted. And through all of this invasion and colonization and hardening and, you know, modernization, and they're still here. We need to really start sitting up and not just paying attention, but actioning that you know, making that respect and transform into, we call it regeneration, restoration, or a lot of different terms you can use, caring for country.